Welcome back to the Deep Dig of Sports Pod. I'm your host, Drew, and my other host right over there.
What's up? It's D. Go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe to the podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, we have a full audio version. Take us everywhere on the go, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. If you are listening on audio, hop over to our YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe. Appreciate it.
Let's dig right in. We have a bunch of NBA news. It's pretty crazy right now. We got Bradley Beal getting traded, Porzingis getting moved in that. CP3 is a Warrior. What would you rate, before we get into the Warrior stuff really fast, Bradley Beal trade? What are you giving that?
For which team? For which team?
Go both. Who won?
Well, obviously the Suns won because they didn't give anything for Bradley Beal. The only thing is, how are you going to put together a full NBA roster that is actually going to be capable for 82 games a season? So that's my one concern when it comes to the Suns. When it comes to the Wizards, you didn't get anything back. So it's like, okay, well, I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to bottom out. Hey, let's tear this down to the studs.
I think
let's do it.
More of like, let's dump Bradley Beal's cap space. Yeah, the Suns do get Beal, but in the long term, in 4 years, are you going to be like, oh, I'm so glad we're paying Bradley Beal $50 million a year, and we have KD, who's already aging, and he's been through a lot of injuries, and DeAndre Ayton, who we didn't want in the first place, and he's still on a big deal, and Devin Booker's trying to carry it all together with no bench. So it's... yeah, a win next year, but the years following, it's going to be kind of tough.
And that's the one saving grace for the Wizards, is that they actually, I believe it's 4 first-round draft swaps. So they take the latter of the two. And so this Phoenix Suns team, we've seen, like, with all the KD super teams after Golden State, have a window of maybe a year or two where they can actually win it. And then it's a year of 2 of KD's just going to carry and the team is going to tank out. So that might save them as far as this window might be super small.
Well,
we could capitalize on
I think with
that.
the Wizards, though, it's like there's a plan to tank and then there's no plan at all. Like, I feel like they're just making moves of I guess we'll take that deal. And whoever's on the team next year, that's who was on the team. You're like, fuck it. Because I don't see any structure or plan of what they're actually building in there. They got a lot of second-round picks, a lot of pick swaps. I mean, Jordan Poole.
Yeah, they're going to build around Jordan Poole.
Let's talk that trade. I think everyone who's a Warriors fan is questioning Mike Dunleavy a lot right now, especially we just watched the draft live. Man, we're going to talk about that pick later when
the dust settles.
We'll talk about it a little later in this pod. We'll touch on it a bit. But just the CP3 fit, what do you think?
It's like, I know I've told you this off camera, but it's like in the Mighty Ducks when they get that player from that other team and everyone fucking hates that player. And you're like, I don't know how this is going to work. Hopefully it ends up a Mighty Ducks situation where this guy becomes a key contributor for this team and he can go, but everything in my body was like, no!
A lot of Richard Sherman comparisons.
Yeah, except I think there was a longer history of me hating Chris Paul. And honestly, if they were to just shut him down after the regular season, completely fine. I don't want him ruining our chances at any playoff long runs. I just don't like Chris Paul as a player. I don't like his game. I'm not a big Chris Paul guy.
I think this is all a move to get under that second tax apron next year, the way the new CBA is set up, and Draymond Green opting out of his deal, Jordan Poole dumping his money. This is what the move was really about, dumping Jordan Poole's money. Because if he's not going to be the future of the team, and he's not going to get along with our stars in Draymond, aging stars, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Then he doesn't fit anymore, and we need to get that money off our books. CP3 is someone who potentially could help win next year. If he accepts his role in the second unit, and I think if he comes in small bursts and maybe even runs a few lineups as the point guard with Steph and Clay off ball, could be interesting. could be something. Or even at the deadline, someone who we could flip into someone else.
That'd be nice.
That'd be nice. Now,
nice.
now you're liking this move a little bit more.
Yeah, but it's still a guy who hasn't been performing at a very high level for the past few years. And even before that, we've seen that he just wasn't a guy that could carry a team. And I know they're not asking him to do that, but it's like...
Well, hey, to quote the Isaiah Thomas, I love expiring contracts. He has an expiring contract. It's going to be off next year. They're just trying a 1-year experiment. I think of it like the D'Angelo Russell to the Warriors move.
Yeah.
Where it's like, we have this block of money that we need to fulfill. And if we just let it walk away, we can't sign someone back because we're over cap. So we need to fulfill Jordan Poole's block of money with Chris Paul's block of money. Because you wouldn't be able to sign him in free agency. You wouldn't be able to get anyone else in a big contract in free agency. So trading Jordan Poole, you have to fulfill that money. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
But is it gonna fit and is it gonna work? Who knows? But I think of it more in the terms of the money. It makes sense.
And maybe like this experience has like made it so that Chris Paul is, you know what? I'm not that guy anymore at all. Like realistically, we've seen I just got traded twice in like the span of 10 days.
He's been traded like 6 times. So
it's like I know like I need to play second fiddle here. I could run the second team. And I think again, this is a superstar and a core of group that like is very unselfish. And so they'll tell him like, no, that's like what you have to do is this. And so
I think if he was smart, he would become the next Andre Iguodala, accept his role as a bench player and mentor. He could play for another 4 years potentially and just be the mentor on the bench. And he wouldn't get shit on for being a bench role player in the Warriors system.
No, I don't think he would.
No one would be making fun of him for being a bench player. Like,
but if he makes a big stink and is like, yo, I got to get out of here. And he goes to like the T-Wolves and sucks.
So
like that's easy.
So I think this could go one of two ways. It's experimental. Hey, let's try it and see if we can win with this for 1 year. And then all that money's off our books next year. And we're getting under the tax apron. Or it's let's just get the guy in here. He fulfills the money and we'll just makeshift roster it and flip him later, like D'Lo.
Yeah, but did you really have to give up Jordan Poole and multiple draft picks to get Chris Paul? Or was
it's not to get Chris, it's to dump.
Offload that money. But to offload that money, you really had to do that. Like you don't think again like another mid-tier team would just take that.
Here's the thing. In the new CBA, Jordan Poole's making a shit ton of money and teams can only sign maybe they can only pay maybe 3 guys.
Yeah.
So is Jordan Poole one of your 3 guys, possibly your number 2 guy that you're going to be paying all the money to, and then it's a bunch of minimums? And that's the thing. Like last year really, I think, tanked his stock. If we did it 2 years ago,
yeah,
I think we could have got a better deal. Like maybe it would have been a discussion like Jaylen Brown, Jordan Poole, like they're both going to get max in their what they qualify. So maybe we flip that, like something of that nature, or like a DeAndre Ayton. But now it's like,
who's going to take this contract?
Yeah, who's going to take this contract for this guy who plays reckless and turns over and was not getting along with his teammates?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Let us know in the comments. Are you happy with CP3 on the Warriors? Do you think it's
yuck,
a complete failure? Let us know.